That's okay. I deal with that a lot. A lot of hate. Hey, what's going on, y'all? Back with another one. Back with another one. Yeah, this is the Daily Hump Dump. I will say it's the 12th edition. And yes, we're going to talk about the. I know it's 9/11. A lot of people think it's a holiday, because September 11th, this is kind of a hard month for most people. It's been decades. It's been about 9/11. I don't know how many years is that. 2001 would be 14, I would say 24 years ago. That was 24 years ago when it happened, when America got struck by the act of terrorism. But we ain't going to get into that. We're going to talk about that period in a minute. Never forget. Okay. This is a 2001. Okay. 2000. No, excuse me. 23 years ago. Excuse me. 23 years ago. 23 years ago. Okay. This is 23 years ago. Um, let's talk about the dynamics of relationships at the time, and we're going to talk about the key things that we see all the time. Now, I know people be on some BS and all this stuff, but yeah, I think part of it is like, let me get set up in the thing with my my issue. Okay, done. Because I gotta get set up. I gotta get set up. I'll look in the chat in a minute. Don't worry. Don't worry. Because I gotta get shit stirred up and all that. And I say no, because you two be on some BS half of the time. I don't really pay attention what's going on in this site. This site is not gonna be future proof in the future because there's other platforms out there you can do. Already got a dislike after that. I don't know what the hell was that. Okay. I don't know what the hell is that. That I had two and all that. I don't know what the hell is that. See, one thing I hate about this restream shit, they fuck up the live stream features, and I think all of them are trash now because they're trying to fuck up how you. I don't like that shit at all because they have a thing. They fuck up these buttons. I get so pissed off like when they change the fucking format. I don't like that shit. I hate fucking streaming in general. You try to set up shit and then they try to fuck it up. Like I don't like that shit. I really don't. That's what pisses me off. That's what pisses me off. Right. That shit right there. It's like it's broken. Like I hate these platforms. They are so broken. I wish there was other platforms that don't have these problems. We change them every time. Yeah, we pay for them, but damn, let's just. I hate StreamYards too. I'm not paying a whole lot of money on that. That pisses me off. Half of the time, it pisses me off, and then I'm trying to like figure out what the hell's going on. And you got two of these motherfuckers. I don't like that shit. Yeah, I'm gonna delete that. Yeah, I'm live in my settings. I just don't like the confusion. Let me set this shit up. This is pissing me off half of the time. Like I get it, I get it's content, but this is not fucking entertainment. No, this is it's my style of how I run. I'm not an entertainment channel. If you come to the channel, I'm talking about some real shit, what's going on to help your minds ease up this pain and all this other stuff. God damn it. That's why I don't like the internet half the time. Half the time be everybody be on bullshit half the time. And I'm not complaining. I just don't like the features of these shits. This is what happens when you live stream too much. Like you have enough already, but it just angers me how the settings. I hate the settings on all this shit. I'm just gonna rant a little bit and just talk about it because this is getting on my fucking nerves. Yeah, they really fucked me over on this one, but fuck it. I hate these features. I really do. They act like it's gonna help us. No, it don't. It ruins our streams. Like we try to get focused and stay calm, but that's why I hate the internet now. It needs to be regulated so they can fix them and tell them quit changing the format. That's why I don't like formats. I really don't. And that's a damn problem that I have. Damn, bro. It's the bullshit that's going on. Like that's why Restream is so messed up so right now. But it's okay. I'll figure it out later because I'm tired of. It's a good platform every now and then, but I miss the old format. But they kept fucking up. See, my pre-records is good. I know how to figure that out. But what I don't is it's the live stream part. The live stream part pisses me off. That's the anger part. And I understand that people be on bullshit. That's why I don't like Austin, Texas. They don't know about shit about technology. They fuck up everything they touch. But they okay. I try to give them a chance. But man, don't do that shit, man. That shit gets on my nerves. The worst thing you can do is piss me off. That's the worst thing you can do. I don't like to be pissed off. I'm trying to keep myself calm out of these situations. And when you get to a certain level, you understand what's going on. But I had these subscribers since 2019. Like, that's going to probably get hit. That's probably going to get hit. Fuck it. I hate YouTube sometimes. And then, like, let me get this shit. Because I got a lot of haters that subscribe to me too. And I understand. Yeah, I hope it don't get hit. It's past the minute mark. So, yeah. I hate that shit. And this is why I hope it don't get hit with the CP shit. But okay, but the 9/11 period, the relationship period, everybody was together. There was not a whole lot of divorces in 2001. Everybody's worrying about a terrorist attack at the time, and I think this period was a hard year. Before it hit around September 11th, right? We're talking about early 2001, or most people call it 2001, right? 2001, we would say, right? Well, 2001, year 2000 happened. They thought there was going to be the end of the world, which it never happened. But when you realize in 2001, and this is, I was about to turn 13 in a couple more months that year. I was 12 in the early parts of 2001, but around the spring, I just turned 13 around the spring, and I ain't gonna tell you my birthday anyway. But I'm just saying, this was a hard life at a time where people understood that marriages back then was everybody was still together in the early 2000s. 90s they were, yeah, there was some divorced kids half the time when I went to school with, and it's the same period was too when I grew up with, and their parents got divorced around years and years ago. See, court systems were different back then. I'll tell you that. They was hard. They locked people up, and especially, but it was some racial tensions. If you remember OJ and all that, this is a hard period. This is when sports was actually good in the early 2000s. I'm not gonna lie, but that terrorist attack set a lot of things out. America was never the same ever again. This is the year when this country kind of, when you saw the attack, that was it for this country's spark ever seen. They peaked in 2001. The greatest you see in this country was 2001. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. If you're pro-white or whatever, that's your peak. After that, everybody had their own vices. It was going to war and everything. And then at the time, from 2001 after onward, I'll say from 2002, from 2009, before YouTube existed, it came in 05, right? The 9/11 period was hard. And then when YouTube came during the 9/11 period, that's what gave everybody these voices. Before that, from 2001, from 2004, those are hard years on the internet. Now, the internet was not booming in 2001 like that. It boomed in 2003 when everybody got on it because of MySpace. It was standard. But the next year, I think when Bush had his second term and he did win, um, he had the Barry Goldwater principles, right? And the dating world was very the same. But when Katrina hit the next year, that was it. And there was some racial divide. Yeah, there was some there. It was tension. '05 was something else. 2006 was a rough time as well. But '05 was the year that there was a lot of racial tensions and things like that, or class tensions, I would say. But then 2006, from '09 on, it was just the 9/11 effect affected everybody for a long, long time. And then afterwards, 2010s, that's when the world really changed, especially this site right here. But 2012, it changed everything. So from 9/11, from 2012 was a hard period because 2011 to 2011 to 2001, that's 10-year span. After the 10 years, you got 11-year span. It was never, no one's the same after that. Ever since then, you have all these theories of what happened, who did what, and then you start looking at the big picture. While relationships were decent back then, they were decent way back in the day during the terrorist attack and before the terrorist attack. Then after the terrorist attack, it's just you didn't see all this rhetoric. Only time you saw all this rhetoric was probably when YouTube was created. I'll say from '06, from 2008, when I started coming to YouTube years ago when I was 19 in 2007. And then I was 20 going on next year. Now, I dated somebody in between during the Obama years, I would say from December of '08, and then '09, I broke up with her around my birthday. So that's a whole nother story on that. I'm not going to talk about my whole life on here. I'm not going to do that. And I'm just gonna say, like, my experience of that period dating was decent back then. There was none of these dating apps. There was none of this shit. There was no OF, no Instagram. I came from around that period. Everybody was outside. I was outside. I had a lot of hair on my head. You fast forward now, it's kind of died. Everybody's got their own emotions. Yes, this utilitarian society always existed. They just put it in spurts, and it was secular until it got to the nasty mark, what you see today, and the entitlement is so high today. That's why before the pandemic, it was already bad because the 9/11 period and all the other effects affected the country. Everybody was divided already. But the pandemic really dampened. I did see that debate. That debate was it was a slaughterhouse. And a lot of people said Trump won. Trump didn't win shit. He got rattled. They answered the same questions like they always do both sides. I don't care if neither party, but she beat him on several points. I saw a lot of females on X, formerly known as Twitter, clowning him all over the airways of social networking and things like that. But if you really think about it, that debate, I watched it on Washington Post last night on a online in the search, and ABC was hosting the debate, but also I was watching it through the Washington Post online and things like that. But that thing is wild, man. He got rattled when he talked about the animals and animal cruelty and things and blame it on the Haitians, which is crazy. But that's Trump for you. That's what you get. That's your liberal president that we had for 4 years that had practiced utilitarian thoughts, and his narcissism got the best of him. But when you talk about guys like him, there's people still gonna vote for him. Last night, I saw some streams before I went to bed. I went to bed at 3 a.m. Last night. I was doing something else after I watched the debate round. I believe like 8 through around the time 9 and 10, it was done. And then I was watching different streams. Everybody was laughing how Trump got clowned on that. And then you got some people say he did all right. He didn't do well. He just got rattled. Me personally, when I saw that debate, that boy got rattled. He really wanted to face Joe Biden. He didn't even look at Kamala at one time. Yeah, they shook hands and everything. I saw the beginning. I saw the beginning to the end. He did not look at it one time. She looked at him, laughed at him the whole time, and she was prosecuting his ass. That's what he's afraid of. Now, yeah, he beat those cases. Yeah, they ain't gonna put him in jail like that. No, I'm just saying. Life said he did. No, he didn't. She didn't get rattled. She stayed calm. That's how you debate a guy like that. See, delusional, derelict, so-called Negroes and bitch-ass people will side with a narcissistic person that has utilitarian philosophies in the head all the time, lying to you. And he don't want. He got his face got red when she mentioned Central Park 5. And let me tell you something. Yeah, Democrats did something to it. Yeah, at the time he was Democrat and he showed his racist hand as a liberal, not as a conservative, because most Republicans do not like conservatives like that. You don't get nothing out of it. I'm sorry. The historically Republicans, if you notice, they're moderates and liberals that show they classist hand to their own and us. Continue to vote for them. Even if you vote Democrat, it don't matter. Democrats, to me, are more conservative because they don't care about us. They tell us to go to work. Yes, they pay us a little. They help us a little bit, get us a little dollars. But deep down, if you think about it, they help us more. They don't care about the community. They just want you to go to work so they can control you from the distance. That's what they do. But Democrats, they know what they're doing. They're conservative. They do they run the military? Not so much. Republicans want money. I try to tell y'all this. Republicans are more liberal than conservative. If you believe me or not, if you study history of Republican culture that I've talked about, why liberalism exists on their side more than Democrats, it's because they want money. Liberals got more money than anybody. There is no such thing as left and right. They taught us to believe left and right is this. That's BS. That's theater shit. You niggas need to go do real research and stop using talking points from white people. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Stop using shit like that. That's why I don't fuck with you niggas in politics. Y'all don't know what the hell you're talking about. You have to study utilitarianism to understand how this world works. This world is ran by that philosophy mixed with the narcissism and fascistic right-wing behavior. Even though liberals can be right-wing too. Y'all don't know that, do you? They run the Republican Party and the moderates. They dictate the conservative Republicans. They neither side, black, white or black conservatives don't get nothing in return. That goes for all conservatives around every party. They don't get nothing. You have to understand that. We already know Wall Street's ran by liberals. Yes. And they got money. They don't care. Shouts out to Langston. Long live Langston. I saw one of his videos. He said, and talk about Tariq Hill. And this is a first example of Tariq Hill. He did fucked up and shouldn't have escalated. Yeah, that cop was an asshole, but he shouldn't have escalated it. His dumbass. Even though they won the game, they should have lost the game, but he won the game. I've watched the play-by-play the game the other last Sunday, and I saw my team beat the Packers last week, and football season around the corner, and this is right at perfect time. Everybody don't got Tariq Hill's money. Now, shouts out to Steve Knight for breaking it down, and he saw the video, and I saw the video myself. That nigga should never resist it. And the cop was being nice. When you have tinted windows down south, if y'all live in the south like I do, be careful when you have tinted windows because they're gonna look at you as a bad guy, terrorist, or a criminal or a gangster. That's common when I was growing up. Do not have tinted windows down here because if you do, they're gonna treat you like you're a criminal or some shit. Do not get emotional. Do not argue back. Be cordial. In that situation, don't resist to the police, man. Like it's not worth it because they got cameras on you. They can use everything against you in court, and then you get executed like that. Now they handcuffed him, they roughed him up a little bit, but the other guys, his teammates, tried to tell him to defuse. They told him, and the officer told him, "Get back, we ain't playing no more." Blah, blah. And it cost him his job. See, I try to tell you, I watched Body Cam. Police can't really do nothing to you out them getting sued. You know what I'm saying? It's already over. They want them privatized for a long time. Privatized policing is a real thing. Y'all do know that. I saw it in a video game called Battlefield Hardline. I played a good game. But when you play on the tail end of the game about DOS, right? He wants to privatize police. Now, I've heard in movies, video games, you name it. Why are they trying to privatize police? And I said this before on every live stream, on vlog stream from 3 years ago. They want a domestic military force like a police force. And it costs a lot of money. And now I know the economy inflation is bad, but they want a lot of attention on that because it costs a lot of money. You have to understand, everybody is not on par what's going on. But I'm telling you what's going on because a lot of things has happened in this election. I tell you, this is a circus there, but when they replace Biden with Harris, this is going to be a close race and interesting. Trump don't like that. He wants to be winning, but everybody on his side is tired of him. She was right about that, but I could say what she was went wrong is it's the abortion stuff and and they talk about sexual politics. I didn't really care for that. I mean, she tried to bring back Roe v. Wade. I don't think she should have did anything. That's her viewpoint. She can try all she want to, but she's gonna have to name it something else. Because a lot of dudes ain't gonna like that. But I understand where she's coming from because it's talking about reproductive rights. I'm not gonna get into that on the stream because this talks about relationships. It's part of it, but in relationships back then, that wasn't a thing. That was standard back then. Now it's gone. Trump moved it and he claimed he did all this. Well, you did half of the job. You didn't really do a whole thing. It's more than just doing stuff. You got to show and prove. And then the military side, he'd be lying on that. They caught him on that with the Putin stuff. Now, the Putin thing, I ain't gonna get into that because he was friends and well, actually, Putin was using everybody. You know how that goes. No matter what news philosophy you done seen online, you can go to Rumble and they're so biased to Trump. So it's stupid either way. But if you vote for that person, Kamala, you just voting for the same thing with Biden. But I don't care about all that. That don't mean that. That's how America's ran. They want to keep it a utilitarian form to distract you, but their job is to maintain the fray. See, the reason why they want the maintain the fray, like the blue pill culture they want, that's what they want. That's what people want. See, if you have a red pill culture, it's chaos. They don't want that. So when you talk about relationships, I'm not a red pill relationship podcast or stream. No, I'm a guy that talks about philosophy, different things, historical stuff. I talk about all things in current events and semi politics. I do talk about politics a little bit in the beginning of those 3 years and prior, and I had discussion with dudes and did streams, but I do semi politics now because I'm looking at it from what affects your daily life, your semi relationships, and all that stuff. What affects people on these medias, what they call social medias. I call them social networking because you're networking. You're not. It's still really not no media. That's came up by boomers and everybody else. But you got to understand, a lot of people are fucked up out here, and they're being single out here, and they're going crazy. They need attention. So the problem is, you got to look at the big picture. What's going on? I know live streaming is crazy, but you got to understand the world is different now. And I'm just understanding that if you have so much time, why waste it? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you doing everything is right and wrong. I'm just saying, like, people gotta understand that the relationship culture back then was very decent. It wasn't as bad as people thought. But if you look at the history of YouTube, how it was founded in '05, it was founded by PayPal people. Now Google and the government got involved. I'm not gonna say the agency's name. I don't really care for them because you already heard me. It's ran by the three alphabet group that starts with you know what, and I'm not gonna mention the initial. It starts what comes after B. You know what I'm talking about. Those people, and they control everything. And they got a lot of police force and agents, make sure no one tries to be terrorists on it. And they already got lists of people, and they're all over the place. So you can't really run from it. You can't hide from it. You can't hide no more because if you do, they're gonna get you, regardless of the situation. You can't be a terrorist in the 21st century. Don't tell you a secret. You cannot be a terrorist in the 21st century. And if you do, they're gonna prosecute you. This is a prosecution era of Kamala Harris. I'm gonna tell you something about Kamala Harris. That's what they want. They want private policing, safety, and if you notice, Google is knocking out accounts. They're not going to delete everybody's accounts, but I saw this on the article, and they said if it's inactive, I'm active on my account all the time, but they're going to delete the accounts that are spread out. You know what I mean? That's the whole purpose of Google. I understand. But the tough thing is you got to look at the big picture, what's going on. But I'm not tripping off of anything, but I use two devices all the time. But that's just my thing, and I get down like that, and I just make sure I check on everything, notifications and all that, and I try to keep it as simple as I can. But yeah, I did live streams talk about what 3 years ago looked like in the election with Biden, and then the period in the Biden Harris administration was very interesting. But then she becomes the newly appointed presidential nominee. She's a vice president for now, but she's still going to be active vice president, serve this term, and does another term to become president if she wins. I'm not saying she's going to win, but it's a possibility she's going to win. After that debate, what I saw, man, Trump did okay. I don't think he did his best. He was rattled on all questions. The immigration question, he was hyped. That's the only thing he was hyped for. Me personally, he did good job on the immigration. That's it. I don't think he's my favorite. He'll never be my favorite. I don't give a fuck about him, but the immigration question, he answered what he answered, and that's his viewpoint. But people looked at him crazy. But when he mentioned about the animals, he lost it for a lot of people. A lot of people kept trolling him, clowning him on X and Twitter. A lot of people said they don't care. No, I watch everything. I watch every media that the other side. I'm a counter person. I'm balanced over here. This channel is very balanced. I'm not biased to no side. If you come in for that, you're on the wrong channel. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. I don't give a fuck about either side, but I'm not biased to Harris either. But shitting on her wouldn't make sense. She's just a typical Democrat. Y'all can say all the negative sexual stuff. I don't care about all that. Who cares? Don't blame her. Blame the guys that put her there. But she know that lawyer shit. She got some training. and they said she couldn't debate shit. Anybody can debate Donald Trump. Trump's not the best debater. No, he know who to do it to, not to do it to. He know he can push over Biden. But when it comes to a person that's young, has a little experience in law, oh, it's over for him. She already won the independent vote. I already know she got the independent vote. She's got the Latin vote, the brown people vote. She's got all types of women voting for her, and Republicans that are male too on the other side that used to vote for Trump. See, you got to understand, he picked J.D. Vance, and most of his neo-Nazi buddies and all them guys, they're turning on him. My dad was telling me that, yeah, there's a reason for that. There's infighting amongst the young and old, and Sarge Willie Pete broke this down. The young and old thing is very real. Y'all don't see what I see. And it's out here all the time. When I live in Georgia, it's very common out here like that. I've been getting these junk mails and say, trying to say the household and all this other stuff, like saying, talking bad about Kamala. They can talk bad about all they want to, but it doesn't matter. There's people gonna rock with her and don't. That's cool. You don't have to rock with neither one of them. But I'm just saying, for y'all's sake, think about who y'all voting for. If you vote for those two, and if you don't, that's cool. And you vote for your interests, no one really cares about that. And there ain't nobody. Y'all live in a fantasy world. This is a utilitarian society. This blue pill world ain't gonna allow you to do that. And Langston broke it down. He said, you're basically an indentured servant. He's basically saying slavery, but he should have said you're basically indigent. I mean, what's it called? You're in servitude, like that type of slave. Indigent servitude or something like that. Indigent slaves or something like that. Like they did in what I talked about in a pre-record. Sumerians and all that. When I talk about the Sumerians and indigent servitude and all that stuff, and they actually created monogamy around the world, that dark culture. I talk about a lot of things like that, and that expounds on what we see today. It was class in their culture. I forget the group, and they divided it, and then the poor had to serve time, even kids. That's what you got now with the prison system and all that. Private prisons to me ain't nothing. It costs a lot of money. They will have 4 private prisons that are federal. State prisons might not exist in the next probably 40 years or more. If this country don't pay off its debts, they say everybody's in debt, like Langston said. That's true. Actually, they really in debt in he should say Japan and a lot of other countries. I don't think China. They use China left and right. They use China left and right. So we already know about North Korea trying to get drop ships over here. That's a whole nother story on it in itself. You know what I'm saying? But at the rate we're going, we see what's going on in the future. But this debate, to me, a lot of people say it's a shit show, circus, cool, but I don't care about that, like if it's a shit show or not. I'm just looking at the optics. What I'm seeing, the independent voters know who they voting for. They're not gonna vote for somebody that did it 4 years ago, then lost to the person and try to say the election was rigged. Nobody's not gonna listen to that no more. It was cool at the time, but they understand that what he's about. I get the relationship aspect, a little bit of politics and all that stuff. I'm talking about like back then when people was together and when they started voting and doing things like that nature, they actually understand that. See, the Bush era relationships were balanced. But what you see these guys today that hates on females and they can't get on women like that, they're simps. Like a lot of these podcasts that you see today, most of these guys are simps, bro. I'm just gonna break it down to you. They're simps by nature. And they always complain about these females and they try to say, we got to change. I want a submissive woman. See that shit right there. We talked about that 3 years ago. These guys are losers, man. Like they ain't submissive. These modern females don't care about that shit. It's about that bread. And I'm not dissing nobody, but I'm just saying what it is. Everybody's not going to like the fact that you're telling them what to do. And when I saw that reaction videos last night when I went to bed late was the Popular Balloon reunion. Shouts out to Xavier TV and others, like all the other guys I'll be watching. They understand. And Brian said what he said. He felt what he felt. And I like the fact that he came as real. He said the reason he didn't want to answer deal breaks, they were all popped. But he wasn't just testing the waters. He was checking everybody's temperature if you're really about that life. And he did, and they didn't like the answer. And even afterwards, after the show, he had that ruling. They didn't like how he come off. But no, he had to come hard. So the truth hurts. They don't like that. But you got people like that back in the day when we was saying something to them, try to help them, and now they acting crazy. They done got older and they think they better than everybody, which you're not. It just goes to show you what time it is. Y'all gotta understand something. That's the world we live in now. We don't live in a world like we used to. Y'all understand this stuff goes further and further deep in the realms of what's going on. And I'm just saying, like, and I'm just like, I'm looking at it like people. But yeah, I know nobody's in here because this is too something. This is unexpected notice. You know how people get, but they can watch me on the playback. But shouts out to people that um came to that pre-record. I know I got a lot of haters. I had one dislike on the video, but that's okay. That it happens all the time. You got a lot of haters, and that's okay. I don't give a fuck about them. That's just me. And they always want to tell me how to do it. Like, go sit down. This is for the youth. This is a combination for the youth and people that need to know about what's going on, the historical stuff. I talk about a lot of things. I'm not going to just be one of those guys talk about relationships. I'm not one of those channels. If you want to go to those channels, go to the weak ass boulderhead Anton. Ain't telling you nothing. I don't respect married men that be sleeping around with hoes on here. He tried to say he ain't sleeping around with no hoes. Yes, he is. Look at the one he got on, but I ain't gonna mention that name, but shouts out to it. But the others that he be messing with. And Super Slide checked him all the time. I know people don't watch my channel like that, and that's cool. They watch me on the playback, and then I get views. That's saying something. But that Tyreek Hill with the money and shouts out to Langston breaking down, and this is basically like racism was big back then in the 9/11 period. Relationships, same thing. It was balanced. It wasn't as bad what we see today. Today has got worse over time. People in the pandemic, they was locked in and they don't really like each other, and it created more rage, more division. That's all it did. See, they were stuck together, but didn't want to do anything about it. It's a tough time, man. Tough time, tough periods. People moved around this time. Everybody was trying to get out of LA in 2020, and everybody was trying to get out in 2021. And they start moving to Vegas, the ones that lived in LA, and most of them moved to Arizona. That's true. But then they start moving to Texas, and then they start coming over here in Georgia, trying to get money and free labor. That's a whole nother story on that. But like I said, this is going on the 9/11 era. I'm gonna step away real quick. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go on mute. Yeah, I'm back. But yeah, Monday I had a interesting morning, but I ain't gonna speak on it. Been focused. I've been focused on content. It's been a good year for me. It's actually been a great year for me offline, and online is just crazy. But the guy from Telegram, man, he needs to regulate certain things. I'm not gonna get into that, but Telegram has been a good platform for me so far. But man, oh man, yeah, a lot of security changes because the election. It's gonna be some regulations. Yeah, inflation is bad. People talk about how bad inflation is. Yeah, if you got your money, you be all right. Everybody's not gonna pay for much. Hey, say, yeah, 100,000 K is something. No, it ain't. You got to be a billionaire to close to have 15 million in the bank right now. if you're in that field and making more. Everybody can't live off 100K. I'm just gonna tell you, like I said, you could live off, yeah, with the two people. That's true, but that's not really feasible if you think about it. When inflation goes, it's not true. You have to be a millionaire in this country. You have to be a millionaire in America. If you're not part of that status. Everybody's not gonna make that. And shouts to the Langston's to say that, just like the marriage part. Back then, you can make 100K. People don't realize you can make 100K in less than that or 80K. That's when you're trying to start a family and all that. That's something back then. Even back then, like during the war periods, America was getting money and then they was selling it off. Hey, salute, APTV, salute. And that was a thing back then. Because money meant something back then from the 2000s, from the 90s, all that. Money was money. And he said it was cheaper. That's true. I watched that. But what people don't understand about after the pandemic and before the pandemic, it was already getting bad under Trump. He created inflation. A lot of people try to say he didn't. Yes, he did. And she broke it down, and he was responsible for that. Just because, oh, Biden created more inflation. No, you created inflation, sir. Obama period, you didn't have no inflation in Obama. Obama period was probably better than Trump's period, and he had 8 years. Kind of like Bush. He was out Bush and Bush. It was similar, both conservative, and you saw what it was. A lot of these people joined Trump, and they thought he was a change man. He said, "Make America great again." He inflated the money. He was trying to pay off his debts. That's what Trump does. Trump's a character. I don't care for the guy, but he's a character, and I know people don't like his ways. There's people of his own kind don't like him. So you have to go. You have to go back when he owned the USFL. I saw a documentary about it, but the guy that passed away, I forget his name, the Florida guy, taught him everything about the game business, how to run leagues and all that shit. When he passed, he rigged the league and fucked it up. The USFL. He had a team based in Jersey. And I saw that documentary on Netflix years ago. I said, man, this dude fucked up a lot of shit. But he ended up becoming president in 2016. But what's his name? The guy from Saturday Night Live, he was from New York. And I think his last name is Shay something. And he said, Trump talk all he wanted to, but he said, I don't want him to be president. This is the time when him and Hillary was going at it, 2016. And this is when I was in Atlanta at the time. I was in Atlanta, in an apartment in Atlanta. This was years ago when I was in the workplace and workforce. And 2016 was wild. That 2016 election was the wildest I've ever seen in my life. Probably the wildest I've ever seen in a long time. But this election right here is a circus. And when he talked about the animals and the Haitians, man, he lost a lot of people in the independent vote. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But the other votes, he's still gonna have his followers and shit. But then you got the independent vote. They ain't feeling it because X they tripping on X about that right now. He's being trolled right now. They having fun from last night. Yeah, this is the 9/11 era. We're gonna talk about the dating aspect. We're not gonna talk about the terrorism because it really doesn't matter because terrorism at that time was huge. A lot of hatred, a lot of self-hating and hatred around this period. And this is a rough period that people don't want to talk about because the relationship back then was very simple. Everybody was hiding their little infidelity stuff. They was hiding this is before Kevin Samuels and all that shit. See, at the time, YouTube was standard for us men at the time to speak our voices and from '05 from 2007. Now, relationship topics were I didn't start seeing them on YouTube since 2008 on my second year of YouTube. And the Manosphere, the first point 1.0 was standard at the time. Nobody's messing with it right now. They're just scared. I don't see anybody coming after 1.0. Now 2.0, or my man Wacky said 2.0, which they act like a bunch of hoes now. You got a lot of simps that created that space. I'm just gonna keep it. There's a lot of simps in the Manosphere 2.0 space. They got too many simp stories. I've never been a simp. I never begged for no pussy. I never begged for no female's attention. I never begged for no attention when I was in school and tried to get a number. I never did that. They always gave me their number when I was playing ball and stuff. And then when I wasn't, I was just being me. But I still had a mouthpiece. I still let them approach me. Did I approach them? Yeah, several times. Not just a few, but several times in different instances, even in sports. We talk about middle school to high school. I did that, the approaching shit. Come to find out, it wasn't for me because I get rejected a few times, just a handful. Some I was with it, and some didn't. That's life. Can I take rejection? Absolutely. I don't give a damn. Did I date somebody here? Yeah, I did. That's a long time ago. I never got rejected down here as much. I always get the attention. But when I speak, my aura comes out. That's why a lot of people start fucking with me years ago when I was doing this type of content and things like that. See, back then on YouTube, I was trying to get into the entertainment shit, try to see what it was, but it wasn't really no money there. I mean, it was money, but it wasn't like I didn't really invest it. I had other things in mind. I was focused on ball and all this other stuff, trying to find myself in my 20s, and I did that. The years I found myself in my 20s was down here in Georgia, trying to reinvent my life from the previous past I did. I was focused on the sport so long, but I had to do something else, and that was hard to do. In my early 20s, I studied myself the whole time. See, I was in a red pill mindset, even when I was on that medication depression pills when my grandmother passed away. This was back in 2003. This is a hard period, too. I lost my grandmother probably 2 years later after 9/11. That was hard because them years from '01, from 2002, was some good times. She was about to be 70 the next year because she was born in 1934. That's a magical number for you to live alive according to scripture. And she didn't make it. And she was tired. She didn't say she was tired. She said she was tired and told her daughter that. My mom, right? Go figure. Hard years. After that, I say from '03 when I was 15, from goddamn, I'll say 2010. 2003 to 2010 was offline was the hardest years. I found YouTube and I was happy and I was trying to escape the madness where I come from in a small town. It was like 2007. I was 19, but I was in good shape. I was in a recovery process. Stopped taking the medication at 2011. I was 23 and had that awakening. Then I start, my faith changed. I left Christianity in 2009. I was tired of it and I was trying to find myself at 21 down here. It was hard down here. When I was a Christian, I actually helped people. I actually helped them with a problem spiritually, quote scriptures, you name it. I was one of those. I wasn't your typical Christian. I was an evangelist type, did my works. I did the same thing when I got saved in 2007 when I was 19 years old. I got the certificate in the closet. Left the shit in '09. Didn't like the religion at all. And I said, no, let me start getting into the Torah. And I started getting into that. I got the Bible first. It was step by step when I was 23. I had the awakening, saw them guys on the street. Then did my own thing. When I met Elder Young One online, it clicked. Small mindset. But we didn't have a small mind. We were like-minded people, and then we grew. And so my channel kind of grew a little bit. And I'll say my first channel, I lost it the year this channel was created. I lost it in March. But the next month I create this one, and finally I had to give it a name, and it's starting. The rest was history. Like you see now, it's just it, I'm in good spirits. But at that time in my teen to my early 20s, man, it was rough offline. But I lived it. I survived and learned a lot. My ex taught me a lot not to deal with pretty women that's like her. She looked like Lynn Whitfield in the face, but she was abused when she was 8. So I dealt with trash, man. I understand why these dudes complain. Well, you always had them. You have there's some decent women out there. There's decent women that will love guys like us, but they so caught up with their friends with the ratchet stuff they program into this utilitarian society, like you see on every media, every post, and all this other stuff. You see a lot of bullshit online. But the thing about 2001 from 2004 period when MySpace was a thing in '03 and '04, those were the best years. YouTube came along after 2 years later, and then it blossomed, really blossomed in 2007. A lot of people try to say it blossomed in '06. No, it blossomed 3 years later, and then '07 came. Everybody wanted to be on YouTube. Every black content creator at that time when I was 19, and then there was 19 and up, want to be on YouTube to see all the old shit that they seen, the comedy skits, you name it. YouTube had everything. The old YouTube was beasting. It fell apart in 2011 and then the next year. That's why YouTube is not the same no more. That's why I always keep preaching. Old YouTube is better than this modern YouTube. Modern YouTube is trash. You have to go by 12. You got to go by 12 years ago, how it started. It was decent, but it ain't the same. It ain't, I don't care for the money shit. Y'all don't realize money doesn't mean everything. Take your time and deal with the time you have with your family and be focused on what's really important in front of you. If you have kids, take care of them. You only get but one. It's very difficult out here to raise them now with this inflation because they depreciate when they get older, and they expect them to be the new taxpayers and replacing you, and you on your deathbed. That's the thing we're looking at now. Sports is the same way. It's a racket. That's why you see LeBron being the best, and the media's poking. And then shouts out to Raw for that stream about that debate. He has some good points. And then I saw this another stream. Shouts out to Rated R, but you got some ignorant niggas talking about that slave shit. No, it's ain't talking about nothing. I don't care if it is like shut up and pick a side, nigga. You sound like you. I don't care if neither one either, but I'm just saying just vote for independent. Talk all this good game, but you don't vote. If you're a convicted felon, you have no right to talk about politics. Go sit down somewhere. I don't talk to people like that. No. You did what you did. You don't have a right to vote. Simple. They're trying to change that thanks to Trump. He tried to give people right to vote if you're a criminal. It's crazy, ain't it? I tell you, these politicians are desperate. These people are desperate for attention. But you understand what's going on. Like, that's it. What's going on to Tampa? But yeah, Florida always have their problems with police. And I watched a lot of body cam, and I mentioned Tariq Hill earlier. You know, his relationship with his woman. Yeah, he's a little abused and everything, but he had that attitude, and he escalated that. He actually asked for it. Me personally, I'm not biased to anybody. The cop was an asshole. Yes, that's my response to that. What I saw, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, Steve Knight said it, and then Langston said it. I watched him this morning. Shouts to the Long Live Langston. That shit's real. You can't be saying dumbass shit and say, "Well, step away from me," and some bullshit, and then it got asshole back to him, and then you get what you get. And guess what? He lost his job after that. Crazy shit. Now I saw George Macon talked about it yesterday, and he said, "Why are we still talking about these issues with the police beating us down and stuff?" And he's right. Shouts out to George Macon of that channel, Street Media TV. But it goes to show you that a lot of people know what's going on in the world. That a lot of stuff we see online, it's very factual what's going on right now. But you notice a lot of people just going to be like, okay, this is going to be a problem. But you know it's going to be a problem. And I'm just saying like this. I saw a stream. Y'all know who. He has some interesting, funny ass title. Ever since and shouts out to him, get 3,000. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the prophet. I'm just fucking with the nigga. Even though he acts like a little simp every now and then, but you know, it's a semi shot. It's all love. It ain't no hate over here. But y'all know what I'm talking about. But it goes to show you the titles, and I get his notifications all the time. I said, this nigga's wild, man. Let that shit go. It's over, bro. And then I heard about Tyrese got to pay child support. Nigga, the government wants their money. That's why a lot of you niggas ain't rich right now. That child support. Nothing to play with. But back then, like I said, the 9/11 era, dating was very different. If you're my age and above my age, y'all know what I'm talking about. It's different back then. 2001, you could have had, say, if you was a little older in the 2000s, in the 90s, you was like, say, if you was like already 20 something, then you're gonna be 30 in the 2000s. You would have had multiple baby moms and bust a load in everybody. Just off rip. But you notice it was prevalent when I was a teenager. It was prevalent in the 90s too, but not as much as the 2000s, and it became a culture. Now, adult entertainment got big with the BBWs in 2003. A lot of people try to say they weren't popular back then. Yes, they was. They was popular in 2003. There was a time period they knew their place. I'll say from 2003 to 2009 to be exact. Great period. And they were simple-minded back then. We talk about how females were back then. 2003, this is a period when you start seeing this shit online. And I forget their names. They were models. I was browsing one day. I was younger. This woman named, what's her name? She was popular. Her name was Avivia Judah. She took a lot of pictures, but there was a college teacher named Rockland. I told this to Wacky one time, and she started that movement. Before there was no such thing was body positive movement back in 2003, 2009. You never heard that term in 2003, 2009. A lot of people try to say you heard the term. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Not when I was a teenager. Not to 2000. No. from 15 to 21. I never heard that. Never. It was a BBW movement. It was huge. A lot of people try to say Monique started. Monique didn't start shit. She copied what those models did online in 2003 all the way to 2009. That's what she did. And everybody started joining together. And then the body positive shit, that came somewhere around 2011 and 2012. That's when I started hearing it. I didn't hear it before that. No. That shit, we talking about online. From '09 and on up to '03, no. I never heard it. They did a thing. Yes, they did their adult entertainment, explicit stuff, sexual explicit stuff. And they did that shit, man. Then they fell off in 2010. The entitlement is so real now, and the confidence is very bad. Like, you really have to understand what I'm talking about. Like, now, did I date someone that was plus size? Well, she was big in school. Yeah. That's why I'm speaking on it. But she lost weight for some reason when she left her ex and had to deal with the person. Yeah, she was flirty, but she had old habits die hard, but she was abused type. They're dangerous. And they used to be big and all that. Yeah, there's some truth to that. And that's sad. But that goes to show you that era. But from 2010 to what you got to 2018, that shit died. Well, it peaked around this time. This is 2010 when we start seeing more. It peaked after that, and then it went down the hill. What's going on, General Salute? And it's just over. You can't do that no more. When you're plus size, when you're big, that shit's played out. It was cool then, and people got tired of you afterwards. And that just goes to show you what time it is. I'm not saying you can't have fun. I'm saying don't do it again. Just be mindful of what you're doing. I'm not saying to be factual, but be understanding that people are not going for it no more. They're tired of it, and they're tired of you trying to tell them what to do and all this other shit. And it just gets to a point you like, nah, man. But we get that. We get why people don't like each other now. See, before the pandemic, everybody was like unified. I'm trying to tell you, the years of what you saw women or females, everybody was not as big. They was around the 90s and 80s. They knew their place, but the 2003, that's when they started went crazy. The modeling thing, they started accepting them a little bit, not as much. They use them as a fetish, and then later on, it became a thing. It became a thing in 2010 to what you got to 2018. Now during the pandemic, everybody's losing weight and trying to get tummy tucks now, looking crazy. That's just called being realistic. What's going on? But y'all gotta understand that's the world we lived in at the time before the pandemic started, and then afterwards, everybody start hating on each other. That's why you get all this fake gender war and shit. I get it though. I get it from a political standpoint. What you saw in this debate with Trump and Harris is the circus that we saw. I get that, but you gotta understand the independent voters fell in love with Kamala, and it's kind of sad that people are gonna go for that. I'm just sorry for this tell y'all that's what they're gonna go for. And I bet you most of them are females, and then the ones that are disgruntled for the Republican Party or former neo Nazis. She picked the guy that turned around Minnesota, and she was smart for picking him because she wasn't gonna win that with a Shapiro. Shapiro would have attacked the guy. Yeah, attacked Vance. Vance was an anti-Trump guy, and that's what's hurting you supporters. You vote for a guy that doesn't care nothing about you, but pick the guy that was anti-Trump. He got exposed, and then my dad was saying some neo-Nazi and the other guy said Trump is weak. He was weak for picking him. And he got flustered in that debate. It's just like the relationship dynamics we see today. And back then it wasn't like this. Now it's like, what are you doing? See, the world's different now. You can't do what you do 10 years ago, 15 years, 20, 23 years ago. You can't do that no more. 23 years ago, everything was different back then. A lot of people miss the days they could turn the clock back, like Langston was trying to say. You can't turn the clock back. You can't change time. Time only knows to move forward. And she even say, move forward. That's a message. You think men gonna hear that? No. Do you think females gonna hear that? Yes. and women too. Women and females. There's a difference. Yeah, they're all females biologically. Yes, but what they act like. There's a difference between a woman and a female. Females versus oh, females versus woman or women. Women, what we deem in scripture, supposed to be modest, all this other stuff, accountable, all that. But you got these slow simps keep calling the W word, but really they're females they dealt with. They dealt with hoes. That's all they care about. And that's why they simps. That's why they losers and they don't know how to treat a real woman, but scared to check a so-called woman that acts like a female 95% of the time that's brainwashed by this utilitarian system. They can't do that because they're not men. They're males too. So that's why shouts out the news for saying this. He said man versus males. We're gonna talk about a little bit that the part two about the blue pill utilitarian system and that connects what I'm saying with this stream about this era. 9/11 was a different era when you date. Nowadays it's just dating been dead since after the pandemic. That's why it's been in a lot says it's a future date. No, it's not. It's over. Everybody's not going out like they used to. It's about money and entitlement, and people are not going overseas doing that. They ain't fucking with that shit either because it's the same over there. Now the ones go there, good for you, but I don't give a fuck about you. You're a loser. Should have did that here. That says a lot about you. That's why the trim boys, so-called passport bros, I hate the term. They got exposed by old boy, man. And y'all doing the same thing with these bookies are doing. Y'all complain about, and y'all lame as hell for doing that. Trying to make everybody baby mamas over there. I don't fuck with y'all dudes like that. That's in that movement. I just don't. Ain't got nothing to do with being expat. No, that P bro shit. That's that bitch ass shit. That's that simp shit. I am not a fan of simps. I'm not saving simps. Fuck the majority of them. Because all they doing do is bitch and complain about females all day, and them females don't give a damn about you. They're using you. Stop paying their OnlyFans, you see a difference. Shit will go away. They don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Get what I'm saying? Get what I'm saying? Like, motherfuckers kill me, bro. I've been on this shit. I've been on this shit. I told you a long time coming in these live streams. I told you I got true support. Shouts out to Degenerate, Tampa, and APTV. You know, salute to y'all, man, for coming through. And I don't care for the haters. If you're watching, you just proved my point that you might as well. If you want to subscribe, that's cool. You know, you can act weird and all that, but don't say no dumb shit. You out of here. You can go somewhere else. There's more channels like that. I'm not one of these channels. I won't tell you the truth about yourself, how sorry y'all are. If y'all really want to do content, just take it slow. I'm teaching y'all something. Don't try to talk about extreme politics like I did 3 years ago. 3 years ago was great. I had good people, balance it out, and we talk about and know your shit. Do the research, study your mind and that, and then process it and then dissect stuff. That's what you do. Don't repeat the talking points from mainstream media because they all support the utilitarian blue pill system controlled by them boys over there. Starts with FM. You know what I'm talking about. Call themselves free. You know what I'm talking about. That all the groups. Yeah. Them boys. So that's what you got, you know, and people are not gonna fuck with me like that. But that's cool. But it takes time. Remember, I left this shit approximately 6 years. Came back, blew up again. No content, but I was still active in the comments. That's what people don't understand. I was active in the comments. No content. I could do the same thing again and come right back. Like I said, you can't do that. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Just be in the comments talking, but just don't drop no content. Still active, but not active doing uploads. Then when you start seeing me doing uploads and you're like, oh, he's active. Yeah, I've been active. You have to. This is online. You know what I'm saying? I've done this a long time, and then y'all act like I ain't. I have not known. I've been knowing. It's 3 o'clock. You know, I'm gonna talk to y'all for like at least 2 to 3 minutes. And shit. Okay, Deshaun Watson strongly denies new. Okay, allege of SA in the. I ain't gonna talk about that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Deshaun Watson, man, he's done in Believe Land. He's. I don't see him coming back. These niggas is done. Like, why y'all? What's the purpose y'all finally? You know. Yeah. I'm just gonna see what's going on here. Yeah. Got real life in the background. I'll turn it all up in a minute. So, he said the Ozempic fad is low P crazy. Yeah, 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 yeah. That shit's wild. All that. That's why they losing weight. The ones that used to be BBWs and models and all that stuff you see online, they taking that shit. The drugs is got bad side effects. It's destroying them. Man, y'all got to get right, man. Like this stuff is wild, man. But that's what I'll tell you. It's hard to date out here. People was plus size years ago. Y'all got to understand they were hoes at one time. Y'all got to understand this. They didn't give a damn about you or now. So yeah, what's going on, Khalil? But it goes to show you that we understand what's going on. Yeah, I'll talk to y'all a couple more minutes. I'm not going to go off just yet, but I will when it gets around I think the 3 minute, 4 minute. I got a lot to say because this 9/11 era dating is real, man. Like a lot of stuff that you see, what's going on online, and that YSL case, the longest case I've ever seen in my life. It's ridiculous. And I say, my even my dad said, Young Thug might get off. He will get off because the guy that's told with the fro with gray hair, he's the rat. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all act like, oh, he ain't no rat. Yeah, he is. That nigga's a rat. It's crazy. Let me get off of France 24. I don't deal with that shit, because I'm tired of looking at that about Kamala and Trump. Yeah, that shit's wild, man. Like, you expect me to talk, but the only thing about being online is just it's some crazy stuff going on. And then what's going on with happened. Speaking into the mic. I'm just chilling right quick, but that's what it is. But yeah, it's 4 minutes in. But yeah, shouts out there, bro. Shouts to Khalil, Degenerate, Tampa, APTV. Salute y'all that came through. Yeah, so with that, man, this is all I'm going to talk about. But yeah, the 9/11 era was basically an era that dating was very different. I'm just going to talk about it in substantial why it was different because you understand what it was back then, and you didn't see all this mess what you got today because every day everybody's on the digital devices. That's all I'm going to say, and that's just the reality of it. So with that, until next time, shalom to the people of Israel and the Gentiles. Pray to you as always in the name of Yah, always. And I'll see y'all on the next one. On the 13th edition, we're going to talk about something totally different, and we're going to see how this era goes out. Sign off.